goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creatives, where we sit down often with a special guest and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry so that you can learn from us and grow your wedding business. And who are we? I'm Simon, this is Greg, and together we are Cinemate Films. We are Scottish-based wedding filmmakers, and we've teamed up with a photography firm to bring you 6 special episodes in anticipation of Thrive 2023, an all-star wedding photography workshop taught by 6 phenomenal mentors. And let's get to know them. Greg, who are we talking to today?
We are talking to Lilly Red, who is Lilly and Vic. So how are you both?
Fantastic. Thank you for having us. Super
Amazing.
excited to be here.
Super excited to share and start this journey with you.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yes,
looking forward to it.
we are very much looking forward to having you guys on. So yes, thank you for joining us.
So you guys are husband and wife team. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about who Lilly Red is.
Sure. So, Lilly Red clearly is not my name. It's Lilly.
What?
But for me, Vic, I was actually electrical engineer for many years before I joined Lilly full time, working together in our photography business.
How crazy is that the Lilly Red, everybody's thinking about, okay, there is just Lilly behind, but it's so much more. It's a husband and wife team for most of the time. There is also some bad things that I can share if you want.
Share away.
Working non-stop is our worst situation.
It's part of the deal, So I'd say we started probably back in 2014, 15? Would you remember now?
I think seriously 15.
Yeah, and so we had there was a point in our lives where we were living in San Francisco for many years, and while I was working the day job engineering, Lilly was building the business.
Oh, wow. So you give me this power of Lilly's building also the business. So I'm not only the artistic part, but I am the creative part, the creative part. But, when I started, it was just me, of course.
Yeah.
Vic was supporting my idea of becoming wedding photographer, which I thought it was crazy when I started because I didn't like the idea. I go up in Italy and thinking about, okay, wedding photographer is just getting married and kissing and family photos, which is kind of true still now, if you think about. But in my mind, it was something else, it was something completely different. And I came to this point by discovering that it can be much more than a standard. That was in my mind. So showcasing myself that in the reality, wedding photographer can be anything you want it to be.
Yeah, that is very cool.
No, it is. It's cool. It's a course. It takes time, and you can mold as you want. It can be fun. It can be challenging. Must be challenging. Otherwise, it's not fun.
Yeah.
I think these two things are always related for us in our business life.
And I was just gonna say. I mean, it sounds like just before we hit record, you said you're a talker. It seems to me like you like to talk to people, that you like interacting with people, and so do we. Are you looking forward to coming over and talking at Thrive?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I cannot wait. More people is more yes, come on, let's do it. I suffer during COVID time because it's I need to talk with people in real time. I need to touch and hug, this Italian passion.
Yeah.
I'll go out.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped to get over to the UK. We get to be in both Brighton and Glasgow, and it's a new experience for us. We've only been to London a couple of times. I'm excited to see the crowd out there. We've been getting a lot of messages and things like that. And I don't know. It's an awesome way to start the year.
Oh yeah,
full of energy.
Yes, it's awesome, and we're looking forward to meeting you face to face. You're actually the joys for us doing this podcast is that we get to speak to some amazing creatives, especially in the wedding industry. Well, only on the wedding industry. So you guys are actually our second guest that we've had on the podcast so far. The rest we'll get to, further in the month. But we were speaking with Rebecca Carpenter. I don't know if you have met
She's
before.
a fun one.
She is a fun one. She's got good energy. And she was talking about her talk, which is on kind of mindset. And I know when you guys sent over some notes for us to look over, you actually mentioned that, the abundance mindset is something that you think about quite often. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So I was born and raised in the U.S. and having that opportunity of being there is really, really fundamental to how I view the world, in the sense that it's not always you have the opportunity to do what you want to do, but it's up to you to take it. There's a lot of wealth and value and opportunity in the world, but I feel like it's only there for people who are willing to do the work and learn the steps and learn how to get better in their field or niche to be able to fully realize it, And so I would compare that to maybe some other countries where you don't necessarily have all the opportunity that other people have. And when that happens, you start to think about scarcity. You start to think a little bit desperately. You start to think like you have to be in a competitive battle against everyone around you. And people often use that as a reason to kind of compete on price or charge less.
Yeah.
And once you realize that there's so many couples in the world, there's so many different types of styles, there's so much money and wealth in there, like there is an opportunity to charge premium and luxury pricing for certain types of clients. There's opportunity and space for so many different people. And it's not just a battle towards the bottom,
Yeah.
And once you realize that, you have to kind of shift your mind and be able to take advantage of the opportunities. How do I position myself to best serve those people who are going to value and give me the credit for my work? And so I feel like as a starting artist, sometimes it's hard to see that because there's so many other things we're trying to balance and take care of and manage. But once you realize there is abundance in the world, it's not just a fight to the bottom. You try to see different opportunities.
Yeah. And I do want to go into what you offer your clients a little bit further on, but I kind of want to get to know you guys on a personal level. So who are Lilly and Vic when they're at home, when they're not working, doing anything?
Cooking. We are normal people that are cooking and enjoy, I think, a simple thing. When we travel so much somewhere home, we want to be present at home. We live in Italy right now, and we make a pizza. We bring my parents out for dinner. I still bring outside Vic for showing him my favorite places that are never ending.
Yeah, so we were living in California for many years. We were there until the middle of COVID, and during that time we moved back to Lily's hometown in Italy. So we kind of went through a change in lifestyle and et cetera, and we traded away some of the comforts of California for kind of like the beauty of Italy. And so being here is especially for me, because I've never lived here, is a huge different world and opportunity, and pace of life is so different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is a coffee in the morning, second coffee in the morning, and then there is maybe coffee in the afternoon. Things in US it was very a lot of work, which for me is there is a balance in life, and there's that's I think is one of the reasons why we came back to live in Italy, is that we need this life. We know life is one, and we want to enjoy, and so when we can, and we made the time now to enjoy this beautiful country and life.
I feel like I'm for 100% for sure. I'm definitely the more analytical and engineering minded one, clearly, because that was my previous profession. But the more system processes, workflows, blah blah blah.
The American businessman is in front of you guys.
That balance, if you don't have what do you do?
I know, it's true. I don't have it.
So
For
what do you
me,
have
is
then?
I'm creative, and I'm creative and work, and then the moment after I need to do nothing and walk my dog, or go to speak with my sister, and then go back to work, and then I forget to do this.
Yeah.
Definitely the artist.
But it works well together. That's kind of the beauty in it, you know.
yeah.
Like if it was just like for me, I've always struggled to understand how other business owners can do both jobs. Like how do people do that creative part and then that operational part?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like different sets of your mind that have to do the same thing. I think that's why people often struggle, is because you have to wear so many hats. Like for us, for example, we're so fortunate because we split our duties and responsibilities. Like what Lily does, I can't do, and what I do, she can't do. Does something like that? I don't know.
You're not the artistic one.
Well,
Let's say
I'm not
that.
there.
Yeah.
And so like we were able to split that. We were able to like yin and yang it, or I don't know. I'm sure.
Punching each other in the face.
Yes, like on occasion you need to, but that's a given, I think.
In a nice way, you
In a
guys.
nice way,
Don't
but
worry.
In a
lots
nice
of
way.
tender loving care.
Yeah, a loving way for sure.
A loving way.
You actually mentioned on your website that you love to walk the streets of Milan, and you're eating gelato.
I am obsessed about gelato.
Well, I gotta ask, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Pistachio.
It's pistachio? Oh, classic.
So yeah, I'm a
same.
classic one.
You know what I learned from Lily was that like the best pistachio is actually like a light brown in color.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's not like a
Okay.
green.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because the brown is like the roasted flavor, and except like real pistachio. It's not cut or mixed with anything else.
Wow, you passed exam.
I've eaten enough gelato at this point in my life where it's like I know like that color is good, and that one's not.
Yeah,
Come on.
you've now got your Italian residency. Like that's you. You're official
sure.
Italian.
That's it.
For sure.
Actually, now during free time, we make a lot of homemade ice cream. A lot.
I like to eat. So
We like to
that's
eat.
what I like to do in my free time.
I too like to eat. I won't lie. I went out for nachos with my friend just for lunch, even though I had lunch already in. I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
not bad.
it was it was good. But so what have you guys been up to? Last year, has life been crazy for you? Have you been shooting much?
Can we use strong language on this
Absolutely.
podcast?
Can we be honest and real?
Busy. Jesus, man. It's been so busy for the last, I can't remember, like 6 years. It hasn't stopped.
Yeah, but let's say the last year was tough.
Last year, because you've got double bookings essentially. You've got
Yeah.
COVID
man.
leftovers, plus you've got new bookings. It's been nonstop.
Yeah.
Every time we stop, we don't really stop. We just pivot to something else. So it's
Yeah.
been going on forever in the most blessed, amazing way
Yeah.
possible.
Yes.
but it's been nonstop.
Yeah, absolutely.
We cannot complain, but I'm Italian, and Italian love to complain.
It's like you were talking about gelato card. There's also a complaining card here.
I play a lot my complaining card. I'm like, oh my god, there is so much work. How can I do it? You're a photographer. We need to be like creative, and I need to give all of myself. So what I do, I give all of myself really to my couple, and I don't have energy at home. That's a honest thing that I did.
But this
Yeah.
is the year of rebalancing, It's like, so we started like really, really full time, like all the way in probably 2015 you started, and 2017 I quit my job and joined her
18.
full time. 18, there you go. I don't know dates, sorry. 18, I quit my job and joined her full time, and it's been go since then.
Yeah.
And so we've been very deliberate for this year and next year to kind of really scale back in destination weddings and weddings in general. It's been a great run, and we've been so fortunate at it, but there's other projects and things we want to be doing. So we are spending a bit more time in those as time goes on.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, let's get some of the techie gear talk out the way. So what, like as destination filmmakers, what's the camera gear in your kit bag? And like, do you have any tips for traveling with your kit?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we were traveling last February 2022 in Los Angeles, and we were so lucky because we got all of our gear stolen from our car. and that was such
Yeah.
a blessing.
That doesn't
in
sound lucky.
disguise.
Yeah, I know.
I was so happy about it. I was ecstatic about it.
I was
because-
crying and tears and pain.
Yeah,
You know?
we had foolishly left the stuff in the back of our car and jumped into the Apple store for like 15 minutes, and lo and behold, when we came back, smash, gone.
Can I stop you 1 second?
For sure we
It
can.
was the time when we brought at home. We brought in US all our camera gear to change the
Yeah.
camera gear. So we had everything there.
Yeah, like everything we never thought we used, we brought with us. You know, and we were lucky because no one was in the car, so no one got injured or hurt or something like worse.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate because we had all our gear insured. You know, so they took everything, and we were able to get everything replaced essentially with new equipment, and that was like a blessing, honestly.
Fresh start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
really.
blessing.
So we've been using Canon R5s, and Lily picked up a 2870 2.0, and things the beast. Like, what's the
my
name?
God,
what do you
it's
call the
bigger
one?
than
I call it
me.
the beast. I call it the big bird to the beast. Whatever is it?
It's just something that is bigger than me, but I'm short, and so it's like people look at me and already smiling at the wedding day without them doing nothing, so it's fun. But it's like we decide to have less.
Yeah, less is more. Less stuff around, especially with all the travel within 2022. We said like, okay, we need to go with something that is efficient, and this lens is a beast. I use now for 90% of the time of a wedding day.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
we usually
One
shoot
camera,
single
one
body.
less.
Yeah, we usually shoot
Cool.
single body. And previously we were having to swap out lenses back and forth, and
Yeah.
it really destroyed the context. And there's so much wear and tear on it, because I hated shooting two bodies at the same time. But now with the R5s and the 2870, it's like, I mean, it's a full spectrum of what we were
Oh yeah.
switching
So
lenses out.
right now, what I do this R5 mirrorless with what's a 2870 2.0. So it's great.
Yeah.
And Vicky uses
I use a 24 and a 50. I kind of just swap out
That's
what
it.
we
Oh,
need.
so you're still swapping.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
we picked up the 2870. This is what we have. Like we wanted some diversity in our lens portfolio, if you will. So this way, like, hey, I drop my 2870. Like I only have one lens. Like I can't be like screwed for the rest of the day. I've
Yes.
dropped plenty of lenses in my life. Like we're smashing them against the door.
Oh yeah, you're the boss of
Oh
that.
yeah, every single time.
Yeah.
And so we split up like my lens kit to have like a couple, just so we have some backup and diversity in
You
case
also have a
something happens.
7200.
Yeah, we also have so we have two Canon R5s and R6 as a backup. 2870 is the main lens for Lily, and I have a 24, a 50, and a 7200. That kind of gives us some backup in case something happens, and we have different
Yes.
macro, micros, etc. to play with. We used to have a lot more gear, but it's just like we travel so much.
Yeah.
I think last year we did like 152 days, something crazy like that. And so like if the less gear we can bring with us, it's just easier on ourselves.
Yeah.
Less weight, less bags.
So you're not finding that even though the 2870 is quite a large lens, you're still able to pack it all right. And
Yeah,
the 7200 is also a very large lens.
They are.
And very heavy and very long. And is it still grey now?
It is. It's
It is
still
still gray.
that Canon gray from like 1964 or something. I don't know.
Why is it only that lens that's grey? I've never understood that. Is there something to
You
it?
know what?
Good question.
I think it's like the vintage series. It's like, I don't know, they got a special deal on gray paint. I don't know.
Good question.
Oh man. Yeah.
So you talked earlier about the move from San Francisco to Italy and the cultural differences. How, obviously, like, how have you found that cultural difference, and how have you changed from that business American mindset to having the 5 coffees in the morning before you start doing anything? How's that
Sure.
transition been?
I've always been like a world traveler, and I've been able to see some pretty cool places through my work. And so I got a taste of Italy as a tourist, and I was like, wow, this is an amazing place to be, And then I met Lily for the first time back in like 2011, and she showed me a whole different side of the country, like the breadth and the depth and like the.
I don't know if you change your mind or not. The real life in Italy.
You know, I got to see a different side of it that was like a bit more, it was a bit deeper, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of quirks and challenges of Italian culture. Like first, I love the lifestyle. I love the lifestyle, the cultural, the history, the food, the animation and people, the expression, the passion. It's super annoying for everything else. Like the bureaucracy, the government trying to run a business, some mafioso mentality, closed mindsets. But you know, like I still am super happy here because it gives us so much opportunity now that we're here. Like if you do bring that right mindset, like the American mindset or whatever abundance mindset you want to call it, you see opportunity at every corner because people just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so for us, like working at such a high level, there's opportunity here. You just have to do the work and not be afraid to take it. You have to think that everything you see and when things don't work, like that's an opportunity to fix it and make it work better for you. You know.
And how do you find the wedding industry in general there? Like, are you part of a good community of creative individuals, or I mean, I know you travel a lot for weddings. Do you even shoot with a lot of Italians? What's your experience with that? Because a few of our friends have said that the culture of other people sharing or being, helpful to each other is really lacking. So I just wanted to hear how it is now from your point of view.
You know, I think that sharing and caring and being open with other people, it does exist here, you know, but it just hasn't had the same head start like it has in other places. Right. I feel like within creative communities, you typically do see more openness. I'm not going to say it's everywhere because that's not true. Yeah. But I feel like when you have a younger, more digital, more international crowd exposed to different people, your minds automatically become open. Like, again, I still think it has a lot of ways to go, but I think those seeds are here because I think that's going to bring the most long-term success and opportunity to people here.
I think I agree with that. Like younger generation, they are much more open compared to, if I think about my past here and where I'm from, it's like you cannot share whatever you learn because otherwise other people steal you the job. And that's what my mom asked me when I started to do our course and the podcast. For me, what I learned in US is like the beauty of sharing because nobody's there to steal the job. Yeah. We are unique, and I'm not sharing how to be Lilly Red. I want the other people to define themselves. And when I brought this to it, I want to bring this to Italy, this mentality of being open and sharing, because we need to fight these scarcities, right? Yeah. Scarcity mentality. Yeah. So I think still exists, but I have a faith of young generation.
Yeah.
I feel like I sound old. I sound like my grandma.
Well, your grandma's very wise then, I think.
Yeah. Well then, so let's move away from the community a little bit and start talking about your work, because I kind of want to know a little bit more about your journey in terms of the route from the fashion industry and how that's affected your work now. Like, has it influenced your work? Because to me, it does seem like it has.
Okay, so starting from the fact that I love fashion in a way that I always admire people in Milano when they walk out and express themselves in what they're wearing. Is something that I grew up with and I always enjoy. And when I start this job, I thought that, okay, wedding photography is one thing, fashion photography is one thing, and everything is a different section of professionals, different professionals, and they cannot be combined together. Since I was struggling because, that was in 2016. It was my first full year of weddings, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy, and I thought I was like the kind of girl that is never happy. And I start to blame myself, like, come on, Lily, you wanted to be a wedding photographer. You are a wedding photographer. What's wrong with you now? Why are you not happy? And I realized that I was photographing without really putting something of myself into it. I didn't have this strong style. I was there. But it's like, yeah, I'm here for you. I do my best, but inside yourself, you feel like you're not the artist that you want to be. So I talk with Vic about that and told Vic, I'm not happy. I'm sorry. I know that I didn't know what to say. I was like shy because, you reach your goal and you're still not happy. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, my answer was like, what the fuck?
After all of this time and energy spending on became who you want. Best advice that I got from him is like, write down your ideal wedding. Where is it? Who is the couple? What they're wearing, based on what would you imagine that they're wearing. And so I start to kind of design my ideal wedding based on the design of the wedding, the fashion of the part of it. So this bride wearing not a typical wedding gown and in this boutique hotel in Mexico. And then I say to Vic, okay, I have an idea about my ideal wedding. Now what I do? And they say to me, now go do it. Go make it happen. Yeah. Go to do the work. Look, you want this in the future. You have to go in Mexico. You have to put together a team. And that was in 2017 when this thing of like destination of shooting, style shoot wasn't there at all. So I wanted like completely new field. I was scared because, I was like, oh my God, I have to go to Mexico. I didn't tell to my mom because she probably thought that I would never go back, Italian mothers.
Yeah.
So, I went, I did, it was hard. There was a lot of money, energy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, since the first time I saw the photos, I cried and say like, that's me. That's who I am. That's how I grew up. That's the things that I love into photos, into ideal clients, to what I want to photograph in the future. And I realized that like this fashion, this Vogue magazine that I was always looking when I was younger, they came out in the wedding industry. And so I went super excited and I started to create so much content, way too much content. Because I realized that I can combine fashion with wedding. They're not two different fields. And at some point, like clients, they start to see me as this editorial wedding photographer, which I didn't see myself. They saw from the outside and they called me that. And I went like, oh my God, yes, that's me. Yeah. And, this is how I was able to bring to my world whatever how I grew up, and this is amazing. Fashion nowadays is a big part of my wedding photography style, and my brides they love it. They ask me advice about what to wear. They're bold and fearless. They wear colorful wedding gowns, and we're on the same page. I think it's all about define your clients that you connect with.
Yeah. Where else, other than fashion and magazines, where else are you getting your influences for your style of photography? Or is it all just fashion?
I would say like we live in Italy, so I would say I can see it in the way Lily edits and the way she plays with her colors. It's very Renaissance style. It's very bold. It's not bright and airy at all, and it's also not dark and moody. It just happens to be very bold expression of colors. I feel like I feel like that has to be influenced by artistry.
I think it's more art. Like colors for me is like so many times when I was young, my parents brought me to bring like art galleries and paintings, and I did art school. So it's like for me, it's like okay. Like that's me. I want to be myself. I want to embrace myself. Even this was so scary before. It was very scary. When you start, like you don't know what to do. When you wanna, I don't say copy, but copy. It's okay.
Be inspired
Be
by.
inspired
That's,
because you start, and it's okay when you start. You go do it. You don't know who you are. You don't know what's your style. But I realized that I'm not for everyone, and it's okay. It's okay. So it's like I mold this business into what I grow up: art, fashion, food. Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
There are some food shots.
Yeah, sometimes I enjoyed this food shot because I love food photography too. It's something that I thought I was start in the past. I was obsessed about food photography.
Yes.
I realized I didn't bring money, so I moved into weddings.
I'm gonna add a little side story on that. We were living, we've lived a lot of places. We were living in the Middle East for a couple of years as I was doing engineering, and Lily was working with an assistant photographer friend, but she was also photographing at home, like creating scenes and setups for flat lays and food. Like there was like a new dessert or a new baked item and a new background she had painted or something. Like there was something going on like every day. And I remember having this conversation with her. It's like, is it food photography or is it not? And it didn't happen to be food photography. She went in a different way, but you can still see that in her work, I think, with some of those flat lays and some of those details. It still lives through that.
But you don't get, well, I suppose in the wedding industry, you do actually still get canapes.
Yeah.
So there is still food available. So that kind of brings me on kind of nicely into what's important to you when you create an image. When you're at a wedding, what are you looking for?
You mean like the money shot in general, or like for me what's important is the composition, let's say that, I want to see in the end result of my the top favorite photos is composition based on the destination, of course, that the couple choose. Emphasize this dress that this bride choose with so much joy and happiness, and of course, lastly but not less important, the candid moment, then the emotion, and even if it's pose, is never pose, because I love to direct couple because they want to be direct for me, but I always direct in a way that they feel like a model. That's for me is the ultimate goal.
Very cool. Very cool.
I love it.
Yeah. What is it that you want to get out of wedding photography? Is it? I mean, you love to travel. Is that part of it? That's I give you one simple example. I wanted to go back to live in Italy. So through wedding photography, I was able to come back here simply why I miss my family and I want to be more in touch with that. It's so simple, but it's so something to drive us into the end goal, and that's something that drive us into here.
Yeah, I think we've always been traveling ever since we met, and we're always going cool places for holidays and things like that. And then it just seemed like a natural, destination wedding photography just seemed like a natural extension of what we were already doing. Lily was building her photography business. We were already taking the opportunity to travel to cool places. And then through somehow fate or whatever, we just happened to combine them without really realizing it. I think we were traveling when we were living in California. Lily always had a goal to move back to Italy. And so did I, honestly, with her. Yeah. And so weddings were a way to do that. We could get paid to go back and visit her family and her friends. And it just never stopped until we moved back.
All right, cool. There was a question that sprung to mind because I asked Rebecca Carpenter this last week, and I was just typing it into my notes there. It was, who do you shoot for? Do you guys shoot for your client, or do you shoot for yourselves?
Good question. I think it must be 50-50. If
That's
I
what
just,
Rebecca said. You got
wow. I told you, me and her, we are on the same page.
Yeah.
Totally. Like, we're going to have so much fun together. But yeah, you need to photograph for them because they hire you, and you need to do for the joy of happiness for yourself, especially you're creative and artist. And the artists, they need to be happy. Otherwise, they don't do a good job.
Yeah.
Period.
I feel like when someone hires an artist, you're inherently hiring them for some sort of like artistic style, need, something you connected with them emotionally, you know? That's why you're making that purchase from them. And so you have to trust them to create that vision. It's not like 100% photographer, do what I tell you, or 100% bride, do this because it's my wedding day.
Yeah.
It has to be a collaborative effort between the two.
It's a teamwork.
Yeah, it has to be a teamwork, and like it has to be trust both ways. But you know, I also think it's kind of, you're kind of shooting for like everyone on the wedding day, because you want to represent everyone's work. You want to represent the planner's work, the florist, the bridal designer, the DJ. Like you want to
nowadays you shoot for everybody. Yes.
Yeah, you want to incorporate all of those different pieces into the wedding day, because you know they were all present there.
Yeah.
And so like all of that tells the story. So it's not just any one person. It's like you're shooting for that team.
The grandmother. You shoot for the grandmother.
You're shooting for
the
grandma,
mother.
You're shooting for team dad. You're shooting for team friend I haven't seen in 10 years. Like your job is to like represent all those little things, but like through your perspective, or through however you manage to see it.
Yeah. That's a good segue. If you want more perspective content, you can join us on YouTube at Perspective by Cinemate. And you can also get the podcast wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, I'm Ashley from With Jack. I'm one of the sponsors of the Perspective podcast. With Jack helps to keep photographers in business by supporting them financially and legally if they have problems with a client or they make a mistake in their work. We've all had that fear of our CF card or our hard drive failing and losing important photos. You can find out more at withjack.co.uk. Head over there and find out how we can help you be a confident creative.
But guys, I do want to move on to talking about something that I think most photographers have at least struggled with at one point in their careers as a wedding photographer. And that's the experience between being an artist versus being a person that runs a business. So can you give us some of your insight as to that kind of balance and how even you do that?
I start and after I let Vic finish. So
it's teamwork.
Because we know teamwork. So when I started, I thought that photographer need to have the most expensive equipment, the best cameras ever, everything super cool, and everything I have to do, it was just taking photos, be the best on a wedding day, and that was done. And nowadays, looking back, and I went like, I was so wrong, because I think wedding photographer is more a business than being an artist. Like, let's say 40-60, in my opinion. Yeah. I've been seeing so many amazing photographers giving up or quitting because they didn't have the business side or they didn't invest the money for it. They didn't think about that was, they think about being an artist was good enough, but unfortunately it's not. That's why there is Vic.
I think photography and wedding industry specifically can be a little bit unique in that like the barriers to entry are low, you know? Yep. If you want to be a photographer, people can pick up a camera and say, hey, look at me, I'm a photographer. But that doesn't inherently give you all the skills you need to be running that business or growing and like getting revenue and income. Yeah. And so like every creative endeavor, every business is a business first. Mm-hmm. So you have to put that in perspective and you kind of have to repeat it. Like when you're an entrepreneur, you have to be running and managing and growing your business, and it needs to be at the forefront of what you do every single day. Like we have the benefit that we're able to split duties and responsibilities. Like the artist lives separate from the business and the strategy part of it. And so I said it before earlier, like I really empathize with people who have to do both jobs, because I know how challenging it is just to do one of them.
Yeah.
Like we do one by ourselves and we're overwhelmed as it is. And so like being a great photographer or taking the most epic photo doesn't do you any good if no one knows about it, you know? And so you have to be constantly preaching, talking, meeting, selling, but not being salesy. Like you need to represent yourself like everywhere. And I think people get lost in that because there's so much to do. Like Google ads don't work the same as what they did like a couple of years ago. Facebook ads change with the iOS updates. Instagram now has Reels. There's TikTok. Like what the hell are you supposed to do? And so it's overwhelming, and there's no roadmap of how to really do it well. And people kind of just stumble around. And I think investing in yourself and give yourself in that edge, because the barrier to entry to photography is so low. Like you have to level up quickly to really make some progress in it.
Yeah. You said that at the start of things, obviously Lilly was the main one behind the business. So she was running the business and obviously creative. Do you feel, Lilly, that having the separation of the roles now and Vic taking on some of the business work, does that free you up to be even more creative and enjoy your photography more?
100%. Like, can I be honest here? I never signed a contract.
Yeah.
Like things like that, like SEO, like I don't even know what they are, but I go to spend my time to, taking care about relationship with couples, go to see an art museum, go to I work deeply on my creativity, and this is I don't like to use the word lucky, but I feel like I'm lucky in this case because I can just focus on my superpower.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's like at some point in your business, you have to be growing. I don't want to say all the time, but you have to be growing and getting clients and bookings and getting better at what you do. And at some point you start delegating and outsourcing to grow because there's limited time, there's limited opportunities, and you may not be the best for a certain task or situation. Like I know I'm not the best artist when it gets compared to Lilly. It's like there's no competition. So why would I spend my time doing something she's better at? And vice versa. Why would Lilly spend her time setting up workflows and systems for contracts and client management when it's just like, it doesn't make any sense, And so we each focus on what our superpower is, like what we're really great at. Like, and that gives us the ability to be really great at it and then free up time for other things to keep getting better at it.
Totally. I'm actually loving the way that you guys are describing your relationship because it's how it's just us. It's us. Lilly, I am you. I cannot run an Excel spreadsheet. What is it?
Yeah. Awesome.
Client management, CRMs, not my thing. What else are my weaknesses, Greg?
Like blog posts, Vic give me photos for the blog post, so I give you the artistic part and you write it down. I give you a few notes about where and what, but you do it. Enjoy.
The challenge is I have to manage my wife as a worker and as a wife. So it's like, who am I managing? Am I managing the wife right now or managing the worker? I don't. Sometimes the lines get blurred and it's like a disaster. But
I can imagine.
That's how it is.
Yeah, I think sometimes Greg describes me as his child from time to time.
I love that.
Which is hilarious. Since we're talking about superpowers, let's talk about your Thrive Talk, which is titled "Discover Your Superpower to Level Up Your Business." What does that mean, though, for the people listening who are going to thrive? Tell them what's this about?
I tell you one thing about this Discover Your Superpower is something that. I always like to talk about my experience and how I get to this point, and I want to share with the people that are going to be there that everyone on us has a superpower, and we don't know that we have until we go through pain and we go through experience and we go through joy and we kind of grow up in our experience of life. And when you understand how to listen to people around you. The people around you, they're telling you what's your superpower. And when you accept that because you love it, you start to use it and you attract more clients. And that's why I love to discuss about this more, because it's very, it's up in the air. Nobody knows. Like, what about superpower? Can Lilly fly? She's a superwoman, Wonder Woman. Kind of. I cannot fly, and I can fly a lot with the plane. But
maybe that's a surprise for Thrive.
maybe it's a surprise for Thrive. But I'm not telling you now what is my superpower. I'm telling you when I'm going to be at the conference. But thank you to my clients. I understand what's my superpower. So it's like, it's amazing, because I told at some point I went to Vic again. I always speak with Vic, like, Vic, I have a superpower and now I'm going to use to make the world better.
I love it.
But
Your enthusiasm for life right now
Oh my
is
God.
so infectious. I'm loving
I believe it. At the least I believe it.
yeah, you have to. Like, if you don't believe it, like no one else is, like it makes your job that much easier.
I believe.
Yeah.
There you go.
So surprise. It's going to be a surprise.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait
So-
already.
So you've both identified your superpowers and you're utilizing them to sort of grow the business and sort of improve every day. How did that come naturally, like identifying it and being able to lean into it? Is that something you had to work on, or did that come naturally to you?
I feel like every day is a lesson in something new, honestly. Like once you start, I feel like everyone goes through it. I feel like not everyone. I feel like some people are fortunate enough to go through like an aha moment where one day you kind of just wake up and go, holy shit, everything makes sense. Or you realize that, oh, wait a minute, I can actually do whatever I want. I don't have to continue the road I'm going down. And once you realize that, you go on this journey of like self-discovery and progression and learning and everything that comes with it, mindset changes and growing up. And part of that journey is like realizing like what you're great at and what you're not. Like, what's my time most best spent on and what it's not? What are my priorities and what are not? And that naturally leads you to like discussion of like, oh, wait a minute, I'm really great at this, or this is what I was born to do. So everything is a journey. And it started from us, from meeting each other and starting wedding photography. So it's always been a progression to something else and something greater. And it just keeps happening. The more you keep digging, the more you keep exploring, the more you keep pushing. I feel like that's where you start to learn things and develop things and get better. Is when you start pushing beyond the super comfortable and easy boundaries that actually don't give you any safety or longevity that you thought they did.
Nothing comes easy.
Yeah.
Nothing. That's
Oh,
what
no.
I learned. And that's, I thought that life was easy. When I met Vic, I thought like, my parents always take care of me and life is good and there are butterflies everywhere, the season, the Italy food and blah, blah, blah. And then I realized that life is not easy.
Yeah, there's so much.
So if you want to get something, you have to work hard to get it. And that was a great lesson. Nothing comes easy, but if you
Yeah.
work hard, you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you talked earlier about working hard to identify your ideal client and then like working hard to go and manifest that and make it happen. So tell us a bit more about your process to finding your ideal client, and is that ever evolving, or is that just your ideal client and you just always sort of focus on that?
I think I feel like was evolving, and now I get it. I know who they are, because since the moment when we do the first call together and we have fun and we're on the same page, I go like, okay, that's my clients, and it's a love. It's there's no other way I can describe the relationship with my clients. I can be myself, they can be themselves, and that's all I want for both of us. For sure, it was like a process. It was a long process, because, when you start, who is your ideal client? And I remember when I was in US, I did a lot of courses about defining your ideal clients. And for example, there was this course about giving the name of the ideal clients you have in mind, what job they do, where they go shopping. It was a great exercise. But I realized that I was creating an avatar of a person that I don't know. So how can I understand who they are, what they want, if I don't know this person called, I even give a name called Emily. Emily, a lawyer that goes to Anthropology to do shopping in New York. Yeah. Okay. I give it, I did my job, I didn't like it. And then one day I say like, wait a minute, I was constantly thinking about who is my ideal client. And I realized that it's a version of myself. Because we hang out in a good way. We have so many things in common. They got married in place that I would go get married. And so since the moment I realized that my ideal client is a version of myself, everything came out so easy. And I think for every photographer, there is the clients that represent who they are. That's why it's so beautiful, because there is a client for every photographer, because each one of us is different. Right?
Yeah.
No. And I love that. I love that process. So I learned something by doing something that I didn't like. That's me. Like I push myself. I do the exercise. I don't like. I'm not satisfied, and I have to find the answer inside me. And the alchemite is like, okay, my ideal client is a version of Lilly with much more money. That's it.
Hey, fair enough.
I mean, I love it. They're great. They have this an amazing, cool place, hotel, and have a great style. So have fun.
Amazing. So have you always known who you are? Like, I don't want to call you I don't want to say, are you a simple person? But when I was growing up, like even to a couple of years ago, I kind of had many parts of me. So when you were talking about finding your ideal client was you, my ideal client seems a bit mad, but that's like, but there's another part of me that's quite sad and not depressing. I'm not selling myself here very well. Do you know what I'm kind of getting at? There's kind of like multiple facets to every person. Which facet of yourself? Like I find that really hard. Do you have any tips for anyone out there who's kind of struggling with that kind of feeling, that kind of question?
Yes, I understand you, because like I a lot of time I'm depressed too, and a lot of time I cry, and my clients, I'm sure they're up and down moment. Mm-hmm. I always refer to the part that I love about myself, the strong Lilly, the one that is smiling, the one that loves art and fashion and inspired. And that's the part that I want to connect with my ideal clients. So you cannot connect with all the parts of you. You just define which part and you want to connect with them, and of course it's the best part of you, otherwise we're going to have a depressed wedding photographer, which is not good. Like I don't want to see my down, but I have it. We are artists, and I take the downs that I have, the good parts that I have on my side. That is the rock.
I have to be the rock.
You have to be the rock.
Firm, steady rock. Don't mess with rock.
Don't mess with the rock.
So the advice, like understand what's the part that makes you proud of yourself, and connect with the ideal client out there. There is one client for each of us. Just connect with them.
I think even though that we may be different people or different progresses and stages, we always want to kind of like be the person we want to be. Like you may not be the perfect person now, or there is no perfection. You may not be the person you want to be. You've got a lot of growth and journey ahead of you, but like try to be that person now, and then at some point you'll become that person, like through trials, tribulations, and discipline of the work. Like it's so fascinating. We meet people at different conferences and workshops and things like that, and we're meeting a lot of people for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because like however they present themselves to me, like that's how I know them. Like I don't know what's going on in their head or how they feel or what their struggles are. I just see whatever foot they put forward. And so if you show me your best foot, like how I know you is like the best version you just gave yourself. Yeah. And I feel like that just keeps building on itself. And so it's like it's not fake it until you make it. It's just like, just be who you want to be now instead of waiting for something to change or happen. Like you don't need to wait for anything. You don't need to start working out January 1st. Like you can start today and just do it.
Yeah. And I would say for people who might have listened to me and been like, he's very confused. What's he talking about? I have personally found that you can actually put many of yourselves out there at the one time almost. I suppose it's a little bit different. So what I mean is, if you were to see one of our films, say, some of the moments in the films can be like really angsty and you know, suspenseful, and they can be dark, and I kind of go into that. But me on a wedding day, I'm happy as Larry. I am high as a kite. I'm having the best time of my life. I swear to God. So it's like you can balance the two with your output and, you know, how you are in the day and how, like, what you create. So for people out there struggling with that, just, you can bounce. You can do it.
You have to bounce. Give yourself the time to refresh and go down at home. It's okay. We give so much energy on a wedding day, emotionally, physically, and everything. So it's okay to be really down when you come back at home.
You're allowed to sit on the sofa with like a blanket, like a dog.
And watch and look at the white wall in front of you. It's like, okay, I'm alive, period.
Yeah, I definitely, after a wedding, I come home and I need a beer and a whiskey, just sit and zone out and try and just calm down a bit.
You know, we start a new trend of eating pasta midnight.
Oh, hell yes.
What about that?
What kind of pasta are we talking about? We call it like spaghetti carbonara?
No, super easy because like at 3 o'clock you don't want to be difficult. So, you know, it's kind of sad pasta, but it's fun,
at 3 o'clock, everything's delicious. It doesn't matter. Like pasta.
Tired, delicious. So we put ideally would be maybe aglio olio peperoncino. That would be my...
So nice. Garlic, pepperoncino, peppers, and oil. Just so it's like...
Hell yeah.
There we go.
For tomorrow morning.
You should do
Ideal.
it. Try.
I will. I mean, I do snack when I come home from a wedding. I'm not going to lie. But
I know.
We got a dog recently, so I would probably just wake up the dog. So I actually just might scamper upstairs and just be silent and go to bed like a sensible person. A person that my wife will appreciate because I'm a good husband.
I love that you're so worried about waking up the doggy.
Oh, absolutely. Well, she's like 9.5 months right now, full of energy.
A puppy.
She's a cockapoo, very high energy, and she just loves me out of all the family. So as soon as she knows I'm in, she's just awake, and that's her just very excited. So for the sake of everyone, I just.
That's make a pasta with her.
Well, so you know how we were talking about how we all like to come home and decompress. I love on any social media platform when it's like the before and after, or me on a wedding day, me at home, and it's just like super nice, dressed up at a wedding, you know, work, happy days, and then them just sitting in front of a computer for the rest of the days. I really find that hilarious. Because we all do it.
Yes, totally.
We've got our home beanies on. Come on. Like,
I was going to say, you look super comfortable.
Life.
Yeah.
This is pajama life, guys.
Freezing outside, you know.
Do you guys have like what's it called? Is it a snood? Is it a snoodie?
Udi.
An udi. Do you guys have an udi? Do you know what I'm talking about? What the heck
is that?
It's like a big...
I think that's a brand. Udi is a brand, but it's just a massive big fleecy hoodie type thing that's oversized.
Wow.
Yeah, it like goes down to your like legs and covers you up.
Next investment opportunity. I will certainly look that up.
There we go.
I just walk around that all day without clothes and walk.
Maybe we can use our dog to do this. We have a giant Newfoundland at home. So
you've got a dog as well. Oh, cool. Nice.
She's bigger than me.
Oh my God.
Again, the camera is bigger than me, the lens is bigger than me, the dog is bigger than me. Wow, what a life.
Yeah, I you know how they say the camera adds on 10 pounds to people? When I see you at Thrive, you're just going to be like a mini person. Is this?
I am
I'm going to be able to hold you in my hand.
I can go in the pockets.
I'm almost double her weight. It's fantastic.
So, thank you. This doesn't help at all.
Since we're talking about social media and online content, let's talk about content creation, because I think it's something that many people struggle with because there are just so many platforms. So, what's your process with content creation? What do you create? When do you create? How do you choose which platforms you create for? Can you fill our listeners in?
This is a technical, so we can answer.
So when we started with content creation, it was back using style shoots. Shoots are great portfolio pieces when you don't have the work you want yet, right? Mm-hmm. So as we are transitioning our brand from local California, Bay Area weddings to international destination, we created a lot of style shoots to do that, right? So we did receptions, tables, we did couples, we did probably everything, or Lilly did everything you could think of. And I feel like that was the main method for content create. That's what we did for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like we did style shoots probably up until 2020 or 2021. We haven't done any recently. And that's on purpose. And so that's what created this portfolio and the brand and the aesthetic you see now. But I feel like content has changed. It's not just pretty pictures on Instagram anymore.
Yeah.
We've evolved or devolved or however you want to look at it. And so content also means great blog content, So every time we do travel somewhere, it's another opportunity for us to be creating great guides and articles and content to share on our website. I feel like our website is one of our biggest assets that we actually own long term. So the more we invest into great articles, blogs, and SEO, the bigger asset we build over time. That's going to keep drawing traffic, and it's evergreen. And so we invest a lot in that. And we have the beauty of living in a cool place and visiting cool places. So it's more opportunities to create content. And then with social media, for a long time we were focused just on destination wedding. So those style shoot portfolio pieces really went a long way. Mm-hmm. But as we kind of pivot out of full-time wedding photography and we expand more into education and training and workshops, as we expand more into like textiles and ribbons and other avenues, like we need different types of content to support that. And so like as we position out of weddings, like we want to introduce more of ourselves into the brand, I think people want to get to know us and what we did and how we did it. We want to be sharing that. So we're creating different type of content now. We're creating content that's useful for our audience that may not be just brides. Like how could we introduce resources for photographers, for planners or florists, whoever else might be out there in the creative and entrepreneurial space. And so it's a lot of content ideas, like just recently, like Chat GPT and things like that have been introduced. A lot of resources to create ideas for content really quickly. Right? You can generate lists of themes, hooks, and angles really quickly, and that helps you kind of plan out your content strategy going forward. And then you look for TikTok, honestly, for trends. Like TikTok, like things work from TikTok and migrate out. It's so funny how that works. Like you see so many videos on Instagram with a little TikTok badge on it, because those content creators are starting there first and just pumping out to different platforms. So short form media. So what does that mean? Like bite-sized pieces of content people love, instructionals, coaching, and then how do we work photo shoots into that? So like we shifted out of style shoots as our content. Mm-hmm. We did style shoots for 3-4 years, nonstop. And now we're shifting into a different form of content creation, like short form media, and then just useful blogging SEO content.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're in a location and you're like, okay, let's utilize this location, create some content. Are you creating for a specific platform, or are you creating for sort of, what's it called when you use it over multiple platforms and for repurposing? Are you creating going, okay, this is a TikTok shoot, or okay, this is going to be used in multiple places?
Sure. I wish we were that advanced, you know? Like I would say, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that. We're not up to that level yet. So I would say when we have like a destination wedding in Mexico or something, for example, right? Like naturally, just because we're there, we do try and stay in some cool hotels. We do try to go check out aperitivo or a cocktail hour. We do try to check out the restaurants and the scene, what's going on. And it's just a natural extension of that. Like we're already doing these things. It's not like we're going on a special trip just for this. Like we're already doing these things as part of the wedding anyways, or the best part of the holiday. And now we're just making sure we capture like these points and these images and just notes that we can repurpose and reuse later. We are starting to be a little more methodical or
oh yes, that's the struggling part.
And strategize and like what content we're going to create. So it's not just us walking with like a video, like not a video.
In the moment.
It was walking out with an iPhone recording stuff. Like we're like, okay, we have these like 3 or 4 pieces we want to be doing. So let's make sure we try to plan out a little bit of storyboard how to do it, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a direction we're moving in and starting to implement.
Can you give us an example?
So just a bit more purposeful. Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Can you give us an example of like one of these videos that you would maybe choreograph a little bit more?
Sure. So like if we're doing like an aperitivo at like a nice cocktail, like if there's like a really fancy hotel venue in town and the budget's beyond what we can afford. Like they're paying the $1,000 or $2,000 a night. We can't afford that on our budget. But you can certainly get access to it by having dinner there, by having a cocktail there. And then you can start to create content for your blog where you start to show off that aperitivo cocktail space. You start to show off
the space, the people,
just
the food,
the experience of hanging out there, you know?
Like if you like whatever you like.
You can do quick little videos, just like introducing a place, little clips of you ordering, having a drink, and you can tie that into like a behind the scenes reel of a location. Like when we talk about destination wedding photography, a huge part of it is becoming the authority and expert of where you're going to be traveling. Like when we teach people how to jump into from local to destination, we always say start with one place. Like the entire globe is not your first step. It's like pick a place that's easy, accessible, and you can build really great content and start to get like your systems and like your workflows set up. Like you want to have a blog for the best venues in, let's pick a place, Positano, right? And so if and when you're able to travel there, you would take notes on the each venue location, take some photos, start to build authority there. If you don't have the ability to travel there, that's okay too. But you start to write those articles and blogs and start to create that content that positions you as the expert. And so for us, it's being experts in travel in that space. So we talk about restaurants, we talk about hotels, we talk about venues, we talk about things that when people look up Positano, our name comes up, and it's a resource for our couples and brides and other people who are trying to go there. And we just keep hammering that down over and over.
Yeah, very cool. I was quite, I don't want to say quite surprised, because so everyone has a website. We all have websites, I think, for the most part. It's always interesting because I feel like sometimes there's just so much social media stuff, We're going to be posting stuff on Instagram. We're going to be posting stuff on Facebook and TikTok. And sometimes the website, I feel that many of us, we forget about the website. So it was really interesting to hear that was your main focus. And then everything kind of spins out from there. So, yeah.
It's crazy, right? Like for me, even for me, it's like I don't touch the website beside the photos. Beside the photos, and like I thought, like okay, website is dead. Blog, nobody read the blog, and I just had to focus on Instagram and TikTok. But it's not true.
Yeah, like the website is like one of the assets you own.
Yeah.
And so the longer you have it, the more valuable it's going to be over time if you put in the proper work for it.
Yeah.
And search isn't going away. It's just adapting and changing so the most useful and valuable content gets seen first. Like the days of like just stacking keywords in your articles don't work, right? The Google.
I remember
at one point that worked.
I remember those days, man.
Yeah,
like totally
and
unreadable
so, like,
text. Just
all the hidden
God.
text when you scroll over with your mouse, you see all the hidden text. Yeah. Yeah, it's just how it's evolved. Like now it's based on search intent, and there's a whole bunch of stuff behind it. But like your website you own, and it's a valuable asset, and it's a way for you to separate your brand immediately from everyone else. I know when we redid our website maybe a year ago, we were thinking about our brand, who Lilly is as a person, her personality, and we really wanted a way for that to shine through. And so the website went completely in the other direction from what it was. Like the brand completely changed.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was clean and simple, but Lily's like maximalist and like energetic, right? And so you have to be able to convey that personality right away. Like when
That's
someone
scary.
like
that's scary for me.
You got to embrace yourself. Like that's what's going to separate you from everyone else. Like you are the separation. Like you are the difference.
How amazing is to hear that. Like when you hear that, you feel like so much power. Like, okay, I'll embrace myself.
Yeah.
Even though the moment before you were like, what are you doing? Like this website is way too much. But that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's her.
That's me. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. And you can tell. So for our listeners, go and check out Lilly and Vic's website, because it is clear that you guys do spend a lot of effort on it. Because it's interesting doing podcast notes. So I do the research behind every podcast. I'm checking all, like everyone's website. I'm checking everyone's socials. I'm having a look. In fact, I'm even finding errors. I know there's a Thrive speaker who has a couple of buttons that don't work on their website that I will inform them about later. But yeah, it's really good. So definitely, listeners, go and actually check it out for sure.
Thank you.
You can do like podcasting plus auditing. It's great. I love it.
What for our listeners out there, what other social media platforms should they check out of yours?
Instagram, first and foremost,
Yeah.
forever. It's been my love and hate. My partner beside Vic has been Instagram, but I'm listening the word and I'm listening the change, and I always wanted to evolve too. That's always something that I say to myself and to the people when I go speak, is like listen to the change and evolution. So I recently started the TikTok. Oh wow. And it's like, oh wow, okay, what I'm doing, what I have to do. I feel old suddenly.
Oh yeah, TikTok does that.
So I don't know. I kind of I realize I should start. I want to start to use TikTok more when I start to use TikTok more.
Right.
So that's the place where I want to be. Like now I enjoy to see the videos more than just to see pretty photos. So I want to understand how, and I don't know yet, how I fit inside that platform. That for sure. I don't want to use for attracting maybe couples. That's for Instagram I want to use for more mindset teaching. That's what I would love to do as an extension of my podcast.
Cool.
I have podcast too.
Yep.
And then for education, I love to education through the funny video that we have over time.
Yeah,
So,
I think TikTok is such an interesting platform because on the surface, if you look at it, you're like, oh, it's just Instagram. It's stupid. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And when you really dive into it, it's like a content-based like search platform. It's really interesting how it works and how different it is fundamentally from like network-based Instagram or Facebook, like who you know versus like really viral content. And it's a different approach, and it's a little shift in how we work. I feel like what I love about it, it's still a bit organic. And it's still just super authentic. Like you can just be sitting there in your pajamas talking about stuff.
I love that.
Like you're not looking for that like super aesthetic as you were with Instagrams that started from photo roots.
I think the world is telling us, hey, we're done with this super perfection. I was done too. And as a woman, you always like feeling not good enough. As an artist, you always feel like not good enough, and we are done with it. Like we want to embrace who we are with our imperfection. And if this is TikTok, okay, fine, I take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you as well. I mean, I live with perfection every day. With Greg, so I mean, look at this man. Look at him.
Wow!
Look at him.
Thank you.
So all these platforms I see is like client funnels. I mean, not as machiney as that, because obviously you put yourselves into them and stuff. But on a very basic level, there are client funnels to get potential clients to your website. But tell us, once a potential client has made it to your website and they've emailed you, then what happens? How do you convert that potential client into someone that you then have a relationship with and then shoot their wedding?
Sure. So if they've already gone through the process and we got them to click and send over a lead, that's fantastic, because that's what our website, if you really like dumb it down, the website is just to get clicks and visits, right?
Yeah.
Like that's all we're looking to do, clicks and visits in the right places. So once you've got them there, the next step in our process is that we acknowledge every inquiry right away. Like it's 2023, like we're not waiting to get the post in the mail, like and we have the systems and processes set up so that when we do get an inquiry, you get like hey, we got your inquiry, like we're super excited, and we'll respond to you right away. Like just the acknowledgement and letting you know that it worked is so huge. Like that level of like, okay, great, I filled it out and it worked, thank God. Now there's a little bit of a waiting, but and then we explain what happens next. It's you're gonna get a response and blah 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 blah. And our goal for emailing them is to kind of start nurturing them too. Like our next follow-up email is like, hey, we want to get you on a video call. So our next step is to meet them face to face. Because when you meet them face to face, it's like that's where the connection is established and made.
Love or hate.
Yeah.
That's my part. It's like, ta-da, that's me. You can be you. It's okay. It's perfect. And, that's the really love or hate from both sides. I can tell if somebody is not my couple.
Yeah. If they've already submitted a lead, like they already love your work and your style, you've already sold them on that. Something about what you've shown them has already sold them. And so what you're trying to do with that client call is to be like, yeah, I'm the real deal. Like I'm the person, like I'm here to be that guide for you. I'm here to take you from where you are in your wedding journey, and I'm going to give you those epic photos that you saw on my website or a portfolio of you. Like you're going to imagine yourself as that couple having that experience, and that's what the client call is for, is to like build that trust.
I think it's like they realize that Lilly Red comes with not much more than just be a wedding photographer. It comes with, hey, you can trust me, you can ask me. I'm here for you to anything you need. So it's very great because it build a great relationship.
Yeah, when couples come to us, it's because they know that we're experts on Italy like Como.
Yeah.
They know that Lily's an expert in fashion design. They ask her for dress recommendations and designers. They ask for venue recommendations and places that we've seen that maybe they don't know about. And if they're coming to us because our brand represents so many of those things, fashion destinations, epic places, and they're coming to us for that advice. And we do offer that, and we show that in our blog and our Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. So we're living and breathing that day in and day out. And so that's what the call is for. And then as soon as the call is finished and we know what kind of direction they want to go, we send them everything right away. We send them the proposal and contract right after the call, because that's like the highest chance of booking. Like someone's super excited. We just had an amazing call about your wedding. We're on the same page. Like we want to make this happen. Let's go do it. Here we go. And then if they don't respond right away, or if we can't get them on a video call, we kind of send some follow-up emails, like just a kind reminder, some little bit, maybe some testimonials or something, or a full gallery, just remind them we're there. And then if we don't get a response back, we kind of let them back in the water and let them go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have any like red flags, or like, can you see when a client's not exactly going to be for you?
For sure, I think it's like making friends and meeting new people. It's like if you walk into a room of 10 people, and you struggle to maintain a conversation, or it just doesn't flow, or it's just awkward.
Yeah.
Like you tend to pick up on it right away, usually in the first 30 seconds or so, or minute, honestly. Just when you have to force things out of each other, or like you're asking questions, you're not getting like thoughtful answers. Like we don't find anything to connect with. Like the connection is so important. So what do we talk about typically? We moved from San Francisco to Italy. It's a crazy story. And so you talk a little bit about that, and you find like, hey, you live in Italy. Oh, have you been to Italy? Like, where have you been? Like, oh, where have you been? And it's just a conversation.
Oh yeah, especially the connection with American clients is amazing, because I feel like sometimes I'm the bridge behind these two lands, and
Right.
I know their vision, I know what they want, but I also come from Italy, so it's like yeah, I know you. I take your hands. Come here and let's have fun. And if it's not love, there is somebody that can be happy with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you've spent a lot of time refining your sort of client experience. Is that true? Is that something you've intentionally worked on?
Yeah, as we keep growing and kind of niching down our business, we've increased our rates quite a bit, and it's not just that we're increasing prices just because one day to the next. It's because we're leveling up our business and experience too. We know that like the Lilly Red experience is something unique and special. It's a bit more connected, a bit more trustworthy, a little bit more of, we're going to take you from wherever you're coming from to get that cultural destination, amazing experience. And it's just part of what we do. Like the client experience has been leveled up every part of the way. And when we first started, we didn't realize what it was. We didn't know what client experience was, because we just were cameras in our hands and clicking and pointing, and that's it. But every step of the way, you learn, you get better, and you're like, hey, how can I pose my couples better? How can I direct them better? And you level up, like how you direct them and how you guide them.
How you find the plan B so quickly. Something happened on a wedding day and still like they're worried it's raining, for example, the most stupid thing. What if my wedding day is raining? No problem. Let's make it amazing anyway. And I like really make it an amazing experience somehow. Like I want to see brides smiling from minute 1 until minute, I don't know, 1,000 million.
Yeah, and it's like through the experience of it too, like we know that like providing a questionnaire, getting certain answers, maybe family list or schedules of the day. We know that working on the timeline with the couple or the planner is going to give us even better results, because we know how much time we need and where we have to be and when. Like the more involved we are to a certain extent, like the smoother and better it is for everything photography wise, because we know what we need, we know what information it is, we know how to get ourselves in and out like effectively.
Yeah.
And so like the client experience has gotten better because of that, but also it makes us better for that. Like it makes our jobs easier, honestly.
Yeah. If there's someone sitting watching this episode thinking, yeah, I've not really thought about client experience, what would you say the first step is for them to start working on that and start looking at things?
Sure. I remember when we started with using like Word doc contracts and like sending checks, and God bless checks. I don't even know what the heck those are anymore. Like, like we were connecting, like the first thing you want to do is like take the most simple, stupid, basic things that take up your time and just like systemize them, like get your proposal set up, get a calendar booking set up, get an inquiry form set up, get a proposal and contract and payment set up, because now you don't have to think about these things. Like when you're setting systems up so that when you're ready to scale, you're able to do it. And it's not you have to reinvent the wheel every time. Like you want to start the systems and like process and scales when you're smaller, so that as you grow and as you expand, you're able to scale like readily. You don't have to create a system that is like a hodgepodge of a million things.
Yeah.
And the sooner you do that, like your client experience is going to get better. And then from there, you can start to build like the next level of that. Maybe now you can build like a nurture sequence for emails or inquiries. maybe after that, you just keep adding things to it, you know?
Uh-huh.
So you start the basics, the most basics and things you think are easy, like, oh, it's only 15 minutes or it's only half an hour there. Like it adds up.
Yeah,
And you want to get that time back. And like the more standardized you can be, the better you are overall.
Yeah.
And then like you just want to be able to connect with your couples. Like you're going to know who that couple is over time. The ones you love and the ones you don't. We all have them. And when you find the ones you love, you inherently give yourself more of yourself to satisfy them.
Yeah. For the cynical people out there who might be thinking, well, you've already booked them, you already have their money, why bother with the experience? Not us. But for those people who are thinking that, what would you say?
You want those evangelists. Like
Yeah.
we don't want just like customers who are like, hey, do you remember anything about your wedding photography? No. Like I have photos. Do you look at them? No. Like we want someone who's like enthusiastic, someone's going to be that brand evangelist who's like, holy shit, I love your brand. Like I love your photography. Like I think I was reading through like an Instagram DM today, and this bride to be was a guest at a previous wedding that we were photographing at. And they fell in love with the energy and the experience and just had fun. And that transmitted into an inquiry 2 years later. Right.
Nice.
So like just being your best energetic self, like you're leaving like your calling card around just by doing that. And that's what you want your future couples to be. You want them to be like the most satisfied people who are like, holy shit, you have to get them. Like there's not a question about it. If you don't do it, you're going to make a huge mistake.
Yes.
Like we want people to be that's like a life-changing decision, or it's something like you just really, really believe in. And so you want other people to do it too, because you know how great it is for them.
For me, I compare ourselves like a luxury like brand. So when I go shopping and I buy something that is luxury, I want a great experience with it. I don't want to go like, okay, this is broken after 1 year. No, I want to keep this because I spend so much money on it and I want the best value ever. So I feel like our clients, they invest a good bit of money on us, and like I want to give us the most amazing experience ever, because I feel like deep inside down on me. Like,
yeah, it's just gonna pay back tenfold, like emotionally and financially. Honestly, like because they're already aligned with your previous clients. Like a referral is a huge bonus because they're already aligned with like your ideal client. Like they're just an extension of that, and now you're expanding networks and communities, and you're letting them like speak the praise for you. Yeah, because you've done such an amazing job. You've earned it.
In this industry, there's not really repeat customers, but those referrals are our version of repeat customers, because they're saying, look,
absolutely,
go with them because they were great. Like, go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Do it.
So looking forward to Thrive, what are the shoot sessions with Lilly Red going to look like?
How can do you want to know a little bit more about style, or because there's so many things going on? Okay, style is interesting because when I do a session in places, I always be inspired about place where I'm going to photograph, of course. And so for me, this time I want to I don't know, kind of give to the people the real experience of being in Glasgow, being Brighton, by being a little bit vintage, if I say. So one of the two shooting is going to be very vintage inspired, 80s. Because I also see go back this trend in a wedding. So I want to give to people the chance to have a portfolio that they can attract a couple that they see trend, because couples, they see trends. They want to see what's going on in fashion and bring into weddings. That's another thing that is very related between fashion and wedding world. So it's gonna be back in time with a hint of fashionable, of course. in both of my session, and I'm very proud of what
Vintage
is
fashion. Yeah, it's
Vintage
probably a little bit
fashion.
unexpected. It's a little bit
Nah.
of a different direction. I
for
think it's
sure
really
it's
fun
different
too.
direction. I also myself I get tired about go to the same brand, and I need some change too, and that's a great opportunity for me to be super creativity. Like those shooting are meant for be creative. So is I'm excited. Vintage fashion. Vintage fashion.
yeah.
I love it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
If you're out there, book your tickets. There are still tickets available.
Oh yeah, go for it.
sure,
Go
for
for
sure.
it.
Just kind of wrapping up, there's a couple of questions left. But we always like to ask our guests if they have any book recommendations or, funnily enough, TV show recommendations or films. But in your notes, you mentioned that Vic he hasn't had a television for what, a decade? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How
was
is that?
I in like 2008 and 2009, I had moved to San Francisco with my brother, and we lived in a house with a bunch of people, and we didn't have any money. So it started from necessity
Yeah.
that we didn't have a TV because we couldn't afford it. And then bit by bit over time, as I moved overseas and et cetera, I just got so busy that I didn't have time to watch it. And so like the need to purchase one went away. And then I just realized I hated that noise in the background. I liked having the clarity of not having that like propaganda machine in the corner. and then it's just, if you don't have that like thing around you, like you're so much less likely to sit there and just use it, right? And, like I took it out of the equation so that way it's not like a source of distraction anymore.
Totally.
Like
Yeah.
I get that.
So do you still watch movies and TV shows, but it's got to be more intentional? Like get the laptop out and
for
intentionally watch it?
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Netflix is
Netflix
there.
is godsend because we get to use it everywhere. But it's a bit more like, it's usually like, honestly, I'll usually probably binge something like over the course of a couple of days and not watch anything for the next month. You
Okay.
know? Like I had to get out of my system, and then like I can go back to like having my clarity for the next 27 days or something.
Yeah.
So what's been the most recent binge then?
Oh man, what have you been watching?
I just finished to watch yesterday on a plane House of Dragons.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
okay.
You know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've not
I-
started that yet. Is it good?
No.
watch until the end.
Oh God!
Watch until the end.
That's what they said about Game of Thrones. It was terrible. Oh no!
Oh my God, we have to watch until the end. So it's like, these things is, it makes you, think about a different world and not living in this world. We love it. We love at some point. Game of Thrones, we love it until the end.
Yeah.
So I've been watching this. What did you watch yesterday on a plane?
God bless. I don't know what I watched. I think I probably watched some documentary about the world or something.
Oh, a lot of recently watched,
Something.
like I watched a documentary of Patagonia. Now I want to go to Patagonia. How crazy is that? Like Vic, I want to go to Patagonia. It's like,
I was
calm
watching it
down.
with you. I was reading the subtitles the entire time.
Books. You read a lot of books. I don't read.
Me neither.
Okay, so thank you. Because every time I say that, people are like, oh my God, you don't read? I sleep. If I read the first page, I fall asleep. That's me.
I'm
I
with
need
that.
to do.
Yes, I am with you 100%. Don't
Okay,
worry.
thank you so much.
Don't worry. Yes, but like what?
But Vic, read.
Yeah. What have you been reading?
I recently read a book called Story Brand by Donald Miller. Have you ever heard of that? Or
Yeah,
Brand Spencer?
yeah.
I always get it confused. I always get it mixed up. But I thought it was really eye-opening into how you frame yourself as a guide for your couple, So we talk about wedding photography. It's all about your couple has a problem. They want a wedding photographer, but they also want to satisfy some deeper desire within themselves. So we talk about like the Lilly Red brand, like the Lilly Bride wants to feel like like a model on the cover of Vogue, and that's really the service that we're offering to people. And so what Lilly does is she's the person that like lets them experience that, and it's such a powerful thing to be positioned as a person who can get you that. And so when you use that as how the framework for how you communicate and interact with your couples, it kind of changes how you serve and provide value to them. It changes what you offer to them, because now everything you do is in the perspective, like, how do I get them from A to B? Like, how do I position myself so that they see me as that expert authority figure that gets them? And if you can do that, it really gives you a lot of clarity in how you talk to them going forward. And it makes a big difference in our business.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd really.
That's why that's why he's the business behind Lilly Red. He's the one that read.
And what's so fascinating, like what I love is that when you read like this book or anything else, you realize like, oh shit, there's so much I don't know. And then you just have to keep learning more. Like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Like, oh my God, that makes sense now. And you look back and you're like, oh wow, I could have saved myself like 6 months or a year, like right away. Yeah. Just by like going on that learning journey, just by like learning.
When you read a new idea and you work it through in your head, is it easy enough to implement it into your business with Lilly if you feel like it would work, or because you're the one reading the content and doing separate roles, is it harder?
Oh, I think I love that question because it's both. You know, I feel like every time you read something, we're probably already doing like an abbreviated or like bastardized version of it. So now we're just learning like the right way to do it. Yeah, like really, yeah, like it's true. You know, we played plenty of mistakes, and like the guys who wrote the books, the ones who really figured it out. And so we're probably doing something like that kind of worked, and like maybe that's why we read the book to start with. But then trying to implement the business, it can be challenging, but I think you just have to keep repeating it over and over. Like, I think that's like the stupid secret to success. It's not like being a genius or being like super clever. It's just being like really disciplined. Yeah. Like
that's hard for me.
I think that's like the biggest secret.
Like for me, like every time I hear this from Vic or new ideas, I go like, no, this is not going to work. Let's like, but you know, I need time. So for me, it's like every time it's like, I'm struggling. It takes time, but you know, after some time, I give him the credit of, okay, you are right.
Yeah, I think that was my aha moment, was that like there is no secret except like you don't have to be the greatest artist, you don't have to be the greatest marketer, you don't have to be a genius, you don't have to be lucky. You just have to do the work like every day, like the small steps every day. And that's all it is.
That's hard.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard because like every day, you don't see the result in every day.
Yeah.
You see the result in a year.
Yeah. Like if I wanted a 6-pack abs, I would start now and get them in a year, maybe. Like I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't see.
Forget about the pizza.
Yeah, fuck the pizza. I go for the abs.
So, never forget about the pizza. Come on.
I know. I couldn't do it either. I love that pizza too much.
Yeah, the concept
I came to Italy to eat, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's literally that day-to-day stuff that we get too busy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that sort of continually learning and improving on stuff theme, we always like to wrap up with sort of last question of what advice do you have for a newcomer? Like what one piece of advice that would just make them change something today do you have?
For me, it's very related to that. Do the work every single day. You want to be the best of the best and put this on your end goal, but doesn't come in one day. It comes in years of dedication and preparation and making mistakes and failure. It's something that I had to learn too.
Yeah. I think I take the words of like Nike, just do it. Like, you don't need a reason or a deadline. You just need to do it. Like, just shut up and do it. Yeah. And like, I promise you, like day in, day out, if you just do it, you will make the progress and the steps to like that life you were looking for. Like you can do it. It's hard. Not everyone has the same chance or starting point. I know it sucks, but I really believe you can do it.
Yeah.
We do too. Inspirational words.
We do too. You can.
Yeah. Stop procrastinating. Just
yes.
Get on with it.
Still watching that TV, man.
Watch Netflix.
Yeah. It's cheaper. It'll save you some money.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of the podcast. Where can people find you if they wanted to see your stuff?
Sure. Check us out. Photography work, lilyred.it. We've got education on lilyredacademy.com. Instagrams are what?
Elisabetta Lilly Red.
And Lilly Red Academy. Check us out. We're online.
Wait, we are also TikTok now.
Oh shit, we got TikTok.
Which I think is Lilly Red. Oh gosh, I
Just
don't know.
Google Lilly Red and we'll pop up.
Yeah. And you mentioned your podcast, right?
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
my podcast is American Mindset for Italiani, so it's in Italian. So
Okay.
you must learn Italian, and the name is Non è colpa mia, which means it's not my fault.
All right. Awesome.
Say everything. It's amazing.
If you speak Italian, go ahead and listen to that podcast. For sure. And people can find us at cinematefilms.co.uk on Instagram, Facebook, /cinematefilms. Also, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That would be much appreciated. This episode has been brought to you by Photography Farm in anticipation of Thrive 2023 happening in March. Can't wait. It's happening on the 20th and 21st of March in Brighton, the 23rd and 24th in Glasgow. And I just want to make something clear. We were saying the word sold out a lot. It's not sold out. The event is not sold out. It was just Rebecca Carpenter's day for the shoot session. Oh, I still can't say that word. Shoot session. One of her days is booked out. But
there is still tickets.
There's still tickets
coming available for her shoot sessions. So
There is. So Glasgow day 1 is sold out. But day 2, there's loads of free talks, loads of other free things happening. So definitely check out the website for availability. And Brighton is still got tickets. So definitely buy your tickets and come and join everyone and have a damn good fun at Thrive for 6 incredible speakers, shoot sessions that you can see your heroes in action. Lunch and snacks are provided. It's held in two super cool boutique hotels. You get a killer goodie bag and the chance to hang out with some of your industry peers for 2 whole days. Or just do the tour, like I said in the last episode. Do the tour. There's people from Glasgow going down to Brighton.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're going to come back up and do Thrive again, but I hope so. And if you like this episode, hit that subscribe button on YouTube at youtube.com/@perspective by Cinemate. Or you can get the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We hope to see you in the next episode. However,
in the meantime,
enjoy your Thrive.
Ciao, ciao.
The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.